You have the chance to fly the coolest mission in the history of missions, and you're going to give it up to listen to Harmless Phosphorescence! Hello, everyone. This is Throw Smiley, and I'm swinging my jazz hands around. Who's joining me this week?
I'm Josh Cece. Take the Tesseract. Leave the cannoli.
My name is Carol. Wait, no.
Can you hear me?
My name is Brian.
I'm Alaric Weber, but you can call me Mr. Snoofers.
And this is Harmless Phosphorescence. It's the podcast where we watch every theatrically released full-length live-action superhero movie ever made. We gather some research into the production and the source material, then we tell you all about it. And this show is brought to you by patrons. Patrons like executive producers Michael Beckwith and Atticus Burkett. You can be a patron too. Head over to patreon.com/harmlessentertainment. We got lots of bonus content there. We got Star Wars shows, holiday shows, music shows, Gerald R. Ford shows. We've got our monthly movie, which this month is going to be The Shining. So that's fun. $1 a month is all you need to get started on the good times. Patreon.com/harmless entertainment. This week, though, on Harmless Phosphorescence, we are watching Captain Marvel.
War is a universal language. I know a renegade soldier when I see one. Never occurred to me that one might come from above. Big car chase. Truth be told, I was ready to hang it up till I met you today. So you're not from around here?
It's hard to explain. I keep having these memories. I see flashes. I think I had a life here. But I can't tell if it's real.
We have no idea what threats are out there. We can't do this alone. We need you.
I'm not what you think I am.
Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel was released March 8th, 2019. It has a running time of 124 minutes, cost $175 million, and it made $1.12 billion with a B.
Yep.
So
That's a lot of money.
It was. That was despite the fact that, so usually we do the rankings a little, or I talk about the Rotten Tomato score a little later, but it has 79% critic score and a 45% audience score. That's due to it getting brigaded before it was even released. In large part due to the fact that a lot of so-called MCU fans didn't like the fact that Brie Larson was saying that, hey, you know what? Maybe we should have more women and people of color in movies.
Yeah. Well, and it was in particular around her comments on Wrinkle in Time that really set people off before this movie had come out, if I remember correctly.
What did she?
What was that?
She basically said that the critics that were panning A Wrinkle in Time were all a bunch of white guys, and maybe that this movie wasn't made for them. I think, and I'm probably totally misconstruing her statement, but essentially saying that like maybe there should be reviewers of films that aren't, middle-aged white men.
Yeah, they're
Or,
absolutely.
yeah.
They're
To
absolutely.
better represent the movie-going audience,
There absolutely should be,
They-
and the unfortunately, A Wrinkle in Time was actually a really bad movie in my opinion.
Yeah. Ultimately, I've heard like that critically, it was just not a good movie,
Like-
which sucks because
I
Ava
didn't see
DuVernay
it.
is amazing.
Yeah, she is. But none of the problems with that movie had anything whatsoever to do with like the casting or any of the whatever you want to call it, like social or political like issues with it.
Representation. Oh,
Yeah, the representation issues. None of the movie's problems had anything to do with that. It was all like, your traditional like movie making stuff that's good or bad.
Yeah.
It never factors in. It's just that, like you were saying, there are white men of a certain age that believe that everything should also be for them.
Yeah.
That
Well, and-
everything should. Okay, yeah, you want a gay character, fine, but I still need to mostly identify with it.
Yeah.
That's their
I
attitude.
think I don't necessarily think that that's what the critics were saying about it, but I think that that's how it was interpreted by the people who were
I
then
don't know if
criticizing
they credit-
her response. Because most critics are not going to be like, "Oh, this should have more white guys in it" or whatever. They're going to be like, "I don't like the movie necessarily," and she's defending her project because she was in that, right? Or was she?
She was
I don't know.
she was
Maybe she wasn't in that.
associated
I
with
don't
it in
even
some way, but I don't remember what it was.
Yeah.
I don't think she was actually
But
in it.
yeah, I never saw it. I
Was
read the
she?
book as a kid and was like, I don't want to see this. Same thing with like the Giver movie and things like
Yeah,
that.
I was a big fan of the book. Read it as a kid, of course. Read most of the series as a kid. Apparently, she kept writing them when I was too old for it, so I didn't keep up with the series. But I mean, I took Jude to see it. I was, we were excited. He read the books, and we were all pretty disappointed in the film.
Yeah.
But there was.
Which happens.
Yeah, but I think the actors were all very did well. It had some writing problems. It had some story issues, and some pacing
Anyway,
issues.
but that's why people were upset with Brie Larson, was she was defending the idea that this was being misrepresented by critics.
Yeah. And fandom. Fandoms suck. As a member of fandoms, it all sucks. Like, people are getting mad about the casting in Sandman, some gender flipped roles, and some roles that have different representation than in the original books. And I'm just like, have you guys ever read a Neil Gaiman anything? Like,
Right.
Yeah.
how can you
Yes.
possibly?
So
Like Neil Gaiman's involved with that too, like
Neil Gaiman personally cast the entire series.
yeah. Well, and with this movie, people are so upset about Brie Larson's performance or whatever thing they can like glom onto. I'm like, it was directed that way. Why is anybody mad at the actress who's playing a fighter pilot woman? Like, it makes sense. All of it.
we're mad.
I remember her as being very stone-faced in her acting, but upon rewatching it, I realized that I'm just thinking of her Endgame performance.
Yeah.
Which-
I mean, this movie is so subtle, and I love it for that because her performance is super subtle. She's doing a lot with just like her face.
She is, and upon rewatching it, I was like, wow, she's really, really fun and interesting in this movie in a way that I didn't remember from when I first saw it. So,
Yeah.
anyways, that's Captain Marvel. As I said, it made a lot of money, so fuck all of you people that brigaded it.
There will be a sequel starring Brie Larson.
Yeah.
Deal with it.
Yeah, a movie that makes $1.128 billion is not going to not get a sequel, guys. So
Yeah. How much did the Justice League make? Not that those two things are related, but
under $1 billion. It was definitely way under $1 billion.
anyway, sorry, I
yeah.
don't mean to.
Speaking of box office, guys, you ready to play the box office top 10 game? This is the game where I will describe the top 10 movies of the week based on the Box Office Mojo descriptions, and the guys here are going to try to guess what I'm describing. You ready, fellas?
Yep.
Yep.
All right, here we go. Number 10 for the week of March 8th, 2019. Wow, we are really, really catching up to our current time.
Are there many new ones from last week?
There are, because
some
it's 3 months later. The last one was in January. This is March. So,
Fair enough.
yeah.
Cool.
Number 10. A woman is boxed out by her male sports agents in her profession, but gains an unexpected edge over them when she develops the ability to hear their thoughts.
Oh, what is this? What Men Want?
What Men Want, yeah, starring Taraji P. Henson and Tracy Morgan. Is this after his accident?
I think so. And is this a sequel to What Women Want?
Right?
I didn't see this.
Is it?
No, it's not. It's not. A
It's
sequel.
just
It's like
a
like
oh,
they
that's
did
right.
with Death at the Funeral kind of thing. Like sometimes they'll remake a concept for a particular audience, usually
Yeah.
racially motivated audience. Yeah.
So,
I don't think it's a sequel.
yeah, I get.
I don't. If they mention Jodie Foster and or Mel Gibson, then wow, I would like to see this movie.
I wonder if What Women Want as a movie exists in their universe. Like, did they watch that movie and she's like, "Oh, it's like that movie."
I wish it didn't exist in any universe.
Me too. I remember I was when that movie came out. It was I was staying with a guy named Cal, who was a friend of Linda's, who was this cowboy guy who lived in a trailer. I just remember watching that with him, and he was like this this cowboy beer drinking dude. And he was watching it, and he was like, "That is what women want." I was like, "They be shopping, Cal. They be shopping."
Yep.
All right. Number 9. A young woman befriends at the box office. A young woman befriends a lonely widow who's harboring a dark and deadly agenda towards her. This stars Chloe Grace Moritz and Isabel Huppert.
The Widow's Friend.
I like how you were just like kept going. The widow's friend who thinks things aren't very good up in this place right about now.
Was I close with Widow?
No, it is. It's just a person's name. You guys are never going to guess it if you don't know the movie.
Oh God!
It's called
Jessica. Jessica's Feet.
Tito. Jessica's Feet.
It's called Greta. Yeah, I've never heard of it either. Yeah, there's a lot of recent movies I've discovered from these last couple box office games that I'm not unaware of, and I'm like, did I just not see movies anymore? At number,
I think at least personally, it's how I've been exposed to movies has totally absolutely changed. You know, when I watched broadcast or cable television, there were trailers to watch. Now it's like I mostly watch YouTube and shit, and it's like, does your dick not work? Are you tired of this candidate? I never see trailers or useful.
Right. Well, and I'm in such like a bubble that like the movies that get presented to me by Google Ads are like ones it thinks I'm gonna like, so I don't get exposed to anything that's like outside of that.
Yeah,
Precisely.
Yeah, that sucks. I like being surprised by things that I was unaware of.
Yeah, I love movie trailers. Even
Yeah.
I don't love every movie, but I enjoy trailers. They're fun.
Show me something Tyler Perry's making. I may not go see it, but I want to know it exists.
I want to know it's out there. Yeah. I want to know that I'm glizzy and not capping or mo-capping or something.
We're so old.
Mo-cap.
Mo-cap, mo problems. That's. All right. At number, what the hell are we at? Number 8 this week at the box office. A former wrestler and his family make a living performing at small venues around the country while his kids dream of joining the WWE. Oh, Dwayne The Rock Johnson's in this. I had to say The Rock Johnson.
Yeah, he is the Rock Johnson.
Yeah, a bunch of other people I don't recognize. Oh, wait, that's Nick Frost. Also, we got Nick Frost in there. Oh, wait, and is that Vince Vaughn? Yeesh.
And wait, there's more.
Take it to the mat.
It's
I don't know.
another one I never heard of. Ooh, this was made by MGM. I didn't know they still made movies that weren't James Bond.
Prestige.
Yeah. It's called Fighting with My Family.
Oh.
Yeah. Another one I was unaware of. At number 7 this week at the box office. Okay. I just heard about this movie actually on the Dead Eyes podcast, which is about a guy who got fired from Band of Brothers by Tom Hanks. And so he made a podcast wherein he was trying to get a hold of Tom Hanks to ask him why he fired him.
Is this Tom Sizemore? No?
No, it's
Wasn't he in that?
Oh,
No.
what's his name? Colin something. Colin I can't remember his last name. But he's a comedian. He's like he's one of the he's one of the Upright Citizens Brigade guys. But anyways, this movie I heard about on that podcast. Otherwise, I never would know it existed. But a young woman disenchanted with love mysteriously finds herself trapped inside a romantic comedy. It stars Rebel Wilson, Liam Hemsworth, Adam Devine, and Priyanka Chopra.
Wow. Yeah, I don't know what any of these movies are.
It's called Isn't...
romantic comedy. No?
That's as far off. It's called...
She's at it again.
It's called Isn't It Romantic?
Ugh.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, isn't
Never
it?
saw it.
Yeah. At number 6 this week at the box office, a working class bouncer becomes the driver of a classical pianist on a tour of venues through the American South.
Okay,
Green
let's
Book.
go back to working class. Yeah, Al's right. Sorry. Stating.
That's a Green Book for sure.
Yeah, it's Green Book. Best Picture of the Year, apparently. Ha.
Well, what other kind of bouncers are there? Like, can you be an executive?
Yeah,
Oh, like a white collar bouncer?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. A working class.
Yeah, a
bouncer.
working class bouncer. Yeah. Good point.
Was that Viggo Mortensen?
That was Viggo Mortensen doing an amazing Guido accent. An amazing, Italian-American accent for, what is he, British or Irish or something?
I don't know.
Viggo?
Yeah, he's from not the U.S., right?
Oh, he's not from the U.S., but
He's from Middle Earth.
Yeah.
I don't think he's.
His name is Vigo. Or the Middle Ages.
Yeah.
That seems like an Eastern European name, if I'm not mistaken. But
Ego,
maybe-
son of Morton.
Yep. Literally.
It's but that movie was like definitely like the bravest like movie about racism from 1992.
Yeah, it was Crash all over again.
Yeah, I mean it was basically
the
driving
hell?
Miss. It was basically like Flip driving Miss Daisy. Like,
Yeah.
The lessons they learned along the way.
Yeah, exactly. At number 5, my second favorite movie about racism from this week, which will be a lot funnier once I tell you what it is. A deactivated cyborg's revived, but she can't remember anything of her past and goes on a quest to find out who she is.
Politics.
A deactivated cyborg?
Yeah, this fucking movie.
Alita Battle Angel?
Yes, that's it. I have not seen it, but I hear weird things about it.
It is actually visually really well done,
I
but
bet.
the uncanny valley is super present in the character design intentionally, And
Intentionally, yeah.
yeah, and it just like makes you like a little like uncomfortable the entire movie.
Yay!
As it's supposed to, yeah, by design.
Yeah, that same actress that played her was in a rotoscope show on Amazon Prime. I forget what it's called with Bob Odenkirk, but she's incredible. And after watching her in that, I was like, oh, I should watch this Alita movie. And the whole time I was like, I'm so uncomfortable with what is happening on screen. Why are her eyes anime big? And she's like crying and emoting all this like, I'm just a baby robot. And you're like, what the fuck is happening?
Oh,
It's a really visually cool movie. The story is interesting. Everything about it is really interesting. But man, it's like Ugly Sonic kind of vibe. But again,
That was the
intentionally,
best part
it
of the
was
Rescue Rangers.
yeah.
Hmm.
But it's
Ugly
supposed to make you
Sonic.
feel that way, like viscerally uncomfortable throughout.
Yeah. I don't know if I can hang with it.
Yeah.
At number 4 this week, it's been 5 years since the first movie that this is a sequel to. And the citizens of the place they are in face a new threat. Invaders from outer space, wrecking everything faster than they can rebuild it. I left a lot of very
Sequel.
important information out. Yeah, it is a sequel.
In town. They're in town.
Yeah, they're in town. Let's see. It stars Chris Pratt and Will Arnett. It is animated.
Oh, is it Lego related?
Yeah, the Lego Movie 2.
Oh,
Yeah, which I never saw. The first one was good though. One of the best commercials I've
The
ever.
Batman Lego movie
That was good. Yeah.
is hilarious.
Yeah, Batman
Yeah.
Lego Movie is really good. The first Lego Movie is one of my favorite commercials I've ever paid to see.
Yeah.
oh yeah.
At number 3 this week, this is amazing. A joyous reunion becomes a hilarious nightmare as the family travels to backwoods Georgia, where they find themselves unexpectedly planning a funeral that might unveil unsavory secrets.
What?
Was it that vacation movie? No, we talked about
No.
that.
So a joyous reunion becomes a hilarious nightmare as the family travels to backwards Georgia, where they find themselves unexpectedly planning a funeral that might unveil unsavory secrets.
A wedding and a gay funeral?
This is a movie within a long running series.
Oh, this is a Fantastic Four, or not Fantastic. This is a Fast and the Furious movie, isn't it?
Nope. No, it is
No,
not.
it
Is it a Medea?
Yes, it's a Medea. It's a Medea.
Al said it first, but yeah. Family reunion?
A Medea family funeral.
Oh. Funeral.
Oh,
A Medea
I want to know
family.
what the secret is.
It's and the
I want to do a deep dive in these movies. I've made enough jokes over the years. I think it's
Yeah.
time.
I am
I think we
fascinated.
should
Find
do
out.
the Medea. Medea counts as a superhero. We should reflect on. We should like review that and make sure that she doesn't. 'cause
Like-
she very well could.
I need to see. It's so embedded in the zeitgeist.
Yeah, I'm fascinated.
I have no
Fascinated
idea.
by Medea. The
I
tag.
don't know what happens.
Yeah, the tagline for this is "She puts the fun in funeral."
Wow. Oh, I love that. I'm using that in the next funeral I go to.
Oh, like when a clown dies.
Yeah. At number 2 this week. Oh boy, how do I describe this? It's only proper nouns in this. Okay, well, hold on. Let me figure this out. When our hero discovers his friend isn't the only of his kind, he must seek a secret utopia for that kind of creature before a hired tyrant can find it first. It's all names. This description was nothing but names.
I don't like
A
this
utopia.
story.
Oh, this has got to be. This has got to be our. What's it called? Wrinkle in Time.
Nope.
No?
Not A Wrinkle in
Fuck.
Time.
Is it a Despicable Me movie?
No, but it is. It is.
Despicable You?
No. It is animated. It is a DreamWorks.
Oh. Still Shrekin.
Not the Shrek franchise, a different franchise.
There are no others.
A more it is a medieval one though. Although, medieval.
Is this How I Trained My Dragon part like 6 or
Yeah, How to Train Your Dragon,
Nice.
The Hidden World.
something? Oh.
That's butt stuff.
Yeah, it's like the dragon's colon is the hidden world. I'm confused.
You said colon.
And opening at number 1 this week, Carol Danvers becomes one of the universe's most powerful heroes when Earth is caught in the middle of a galactic war between 2 alien races, one of which are the shape-shifting Kralls, the other of which are the warlike Kree.
Imagine if you didn't know the context. It's just like Carol Danvers becomes the head of HR.
That is the box office top 10, which brings us to the character and comic book background, Mr. Al Weber. Tell us the things we need to
Hi there.
know about Carol and her Danvers.
Okay. Starting with Captain Marvel. We'll get to Carol in a little bit. From 1940, Fawcett Comics published comics featuring the popular character Captain Marvel, aka Shazam. The first Captain Marvel, so named. DC Comics sued Fawcett in 1951 for copyright infringement, claiming Captain Marvel too closely resembled Superman. Ceasing publication of the character in 1953, Fawcett eventually lost the trademark to the name, which was grabbed up by Marvel Comics in 1967.
So that's amazing. So Shazam was named after Captain Marvel, who originally was named Shazam.
What?
DC named their character Shazam after getting the name from Captain Marvel, who originally was named Shazam.
Okay. Was Captain Marvel originally named Shazam?
Didn't you just say that?
I said also known as Shazam.
Okay.
Nowadays,
He was
Yeah.
Billy Batson.
and that was his
His
that was
alter
his magic word to make him change characters. But actually, right before Marvel Comics took the name, another comic company started publishing a Captain Marvel. I think they did like 5 issues, but Marvel Comics went to this other company and said, "Look, we're Marvel Comics. Can we have the name?" And they paid him like $4,500 for the rights to that.
Okay.
So yeah, starting in 1967, Marvel's character debuted as the lead feature in Marvel Superheroes number 12, December of 1967, written by Stan Lee and illustrated by Gene Colan. The original character had a green and white outfit, uniform. Captain Marvel was given his own series in May of 1968, wherein Captain Marvel, or Marvel, was an alien of the Kree race who came to Earth as a spy before coming to identify with the humans. A revamp in 1969 gave Marvel a new suit, greater abilities, and a connection to everyone's sidekick, Rick Jones.
Rick Jones.
Who would then later go on to release the hit single Super Freak.
Yep.
Yeah. Jones and Marvel shared molecules, quote unquote, allowing only one of them to exist in the real world at a time, the other trapped in the negative zone. The switchover would be accessed by use of negabands.
You know,
The negative zone is where shitty comments from YouTube go.
if you don't wear a negaband, then you are going to share molecules with somebody, and you could get a disease.
Yep, you're sharing molecules with everyone they shared molecules with.
Kids, negaband your molecules. The more you know.
Negaband! Ladies and gentlemen, the Negaband! I don't like that. It's too close.
So the 1969 revamp wasn't quite successful, not as successful as they had hoped, and the series was published only intermittently after 1969. Mar-Vell's powers included superhuman strength, speed, and endurance, flight, solar energy absorption and projection, and a cosmic awareness, allowing him to detect direct threats and perceive changes in the universe.
You know, I once achieved cosmic awareness, but I
Yeah.
A lot of mescaline.
yeah, I didn't leave my bedroom.
Right. Yeah. I couldn't find my way back to the tent.
Yeah.
That happened a lot.
Moving along to Carol Danvers. This character was created by Roy Thomas and Gene Colan. Debuted in Marvel Superheroes number 13, March of 1968. Remember, Captain Marvel showed up in number 12 of that series. Carol Danvers first appeared as an officer in the U.S. Air Force and a colleague of Dr. Walter Lawson, then the human alias of Mar-Vell. Danvers was later caught in the explosion of a Kree device. Danvers was saved by Captain Marvel, but sustained serious injuries. Danvers would resurface in January of 1977 in Miss Marvel number 1, created by Jerry Conway and John Buscema. She is now the editor of Woman magazine, an offshoot of the Daily Bugle. But also, the energy exposure from the Kree device, now known to be the Psyche Magnetron, caused Danvers' genetic structure to meld with Captain Marvel's, effectively turning her into a human Kree hybrid. She now shared the powers of superhuman strength, durability, stamina, flight, and energy manipulation.
Good for her.
Miss Marvel had a series of semi-regular appearances in the Avengers, also popping up with the Defenders, Spider-Man, The Thing, and the Hulk. In 1981, Miss Marvel was attacked by Rogue, who permanently absorbed Carol's powers and memories. And that is how Rogue got her strength and flight abilities. Danvers.
So it's not just mutant powers; she can also steal Kree alien powers, I guess.
Anything she touches.
Yeah, it's interesting. Anyways,
Danvers retrieved her memories with the help of Professor X, and was later given other powers by an alien race, the Brood, now capable of generating the power of a star, becoming known as Binary. Danvers also spent time with the Avengers with the codename Warbird. In July of 2012, Carol Danvers assumed the mantle of Captain Marvel, the 7th Marvel character to use the name, and the 9th comic character in general. She now donned the jumpsuit look we see in the movie. Danvers has been labeled as Marvel's most notable female hero and frequently described as one of the most powerful characters in the Marvel Universe. Some other names from the comics. We've got Jan Rog, Kree military commander. Talos the Untamed. I always want to say Talos, but Talos the Untamed, a Skrull born without the ability to shapeshift, was first introduced as a prank guest to Rick Jones's wedding.
A prank guest.
Yeah, you know, something borrowed, something blue, a prank.
You know who loves pranks at weddings? Brides.
Yeah, they do. They're so easygoing and like, whatevs, improv.
Korath the Pursuer, a Kree military cyber geneticist.
Korvath the pursuer, implying he never catches.
He's like the coyote.
Forever in
He-
pursuit.
I guess there was a whole pursuer program that he led and created.
I
Got
joined
transferred
I
to-
joined the exchange pursuer program in high school.
I wanted to be an accuser, but instead I'm a pursuer.
Yeah, are they like the
More
military wing
willing.
of like a police tail?
Yeah, I
Uh,
guess so.
Yeah, kind of. I don't know.
But like I got sent to France to pursue, and then a French kid came here to pursue.
Like missionaries.
The Supreme Intelligence was the AI that governs over the Kree race. And the other Kree, number 3, Atlas, Minerva, and Bronchar.
That's the toilet paper I use. Bronchar.
Finally, we have Monica Rambeau, was the second Captain Marvel, introduced in The Amazing Spider-Man Annual number 16, October of 1982, by Roger Stern and John Romita Jr. Monica could convert her body into any form of energy within the electromagnetic spectrum and travel at near light speed. Monica would later hero under the code names of Photon, Pulsar, and Spectrum.
That's what about Maria?
I didn't really see her as a character.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Al. That is our comic book bracket.
He doesn't see people like that. He's hero blind.
So that is our comic book background, which brings us to the production of the film itself. They began development in 2013. It was officially announced in 2014. So it had a long development process. It took, my God, what was that? That's like 6 years for it to come out. Yeah. The script went through a lot of writers over the years. Let's see. In 15, so originally it was supposed to be released in July 2018. It got pushed back to November as of 2015. So in 2015, they knew they needed 6 more months.
Give us a minute.
They were originally going to put her in Age of Ultron, but they decided not to. They wanted to introduce her in her own movie first. Guardians of the Galaxy co-screenwriters Nicole Perlman and Meg LaFave has both have story by credits. Screenplay credits go to Anna Boden, Ryan Fleck, and Geneva Robertson Dworet. Anna Boden and Ryan Fleck are also our directors, dual directors, a directing team. They they wrote Half Nelson, wrote and directed Sugar. It's kind of a funny story, and Mississippi Grind. So a lot of like character drama kind of stuff. Our cast: Brie Larson as Carol Danvers / Captain Marvel. She got her start on the sitcom Raising Dad in the early 2000s. That was the Bob Saget one. Kat Dennings was also on that.
Huh.
Interesting.
I fell in love with her, and I've had a crush on her since United States of Terra. She
Yeah.
was really good on that.
Yeah, she was great in that. She was great in Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Yeah.
Oh my God, she was adorable.
Yeah.
Not that that's the only way I see her, but I do see her that way. I think I love her.
I love the character in Scott Pilgrim though. She was awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
What character was she in?
She was the pop singer, the super successful one.
The ex-girlfriend who made it, and she
Yeah.
was with that. She was with Brian Routh, the super vegan.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's
What
see.
was the name? Like something at Mountain Head or Monster Head?
It's been a while since
Her
I've
band
seen it.
had a crazy name.
Yeah.
She won the Academy Award for Best Actress in for 2016 for Room.
Which is awesome and crazy.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
very crazy.
Yeah, that
But not The Room.
not The Room, just Room.
Oh, hi, Mark.
I feel like they really should have looked at the SEO before they named that film.
I think that was intentional. I really do.
Really? So
I think it was
imagine all
intentional.
the people who think they're renting or whatever. They think they're about to watch the Tommy Wiseau cult classic. They put in the Brie Larson one. They're like, I do not understand why this is popular.
I don't think Brie Larson. I haven't even seen Brie Larson in this.
She's in some kind of room, I bet.
Some kind of room. What is it? Some kind of
Never-
room?
What is this, a room?
Oh God.
No, what is this, some kind of room?
Some kind of room. Yeah, so yeah, I find her very charming. I like her quite a bit. Personally.
She has a YouTube channel during COVID, and it is one of the funniest things ever. She obviously she like bakes and she like exercises on it. She's training for Captain Marvel, but she played guitar and sang some of her awful comments as a song,
That's funny.
and it was one of my favorite things I've ever seen.
If you guys want to listen to, I mention other podcasts too often, but anyways, if she was on the How Did This Get Made episode for Supergirl. So that was a fun episode.
Whoa.
Yeah. Her and Jason Mantzoukas talking about Supergirl for an hour and a half was fun.
Oh, everyone on How Did This Get Made?
Yeah, absolutely.
I feel like they're a grand cousin to what we do. I think we're better sometimes, but I love that podcast, man.
Them's fighting words, Josh. They're going to hunt us down on the quad. The podcast quad.
Well, who here doesn't think they can take Paul Scheer? I'll say
Oh.
Jason's a wild card. Maybe even June, but I feel like I could take Paul Scheer.
No, Paul Scheer is not a fighter.
I'll cover Paul. You guys decide there.
Jason
Pardon
Mantzoukas,
me.
I'm pretty sure would like bite an ear off or something. But
I was just watching The League again the other day. You know, he's El Cunado. He's like, I'm going to stab you for real with a knife. Yeah, he's a wild card.
he was in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. It was like, yeah, I was being held captive by a cartel. They kept feeding me the other prisoners, and what do you know? I got a taste for it.
Or
Right.
when he's on The Good Place.
Oh God, yeah.
He's- what's her name's manufactured boyfriend?
Derek?
Derek, that's it.
Right? He's just drinking the olives.
It's
Just
just
tumbles.
olives in a giant martini glass.
I love him.
So all right. Yeah. Anyways, Jason Mantzoukas is not in this movie, but Sam Jackson is as Nick Fury. We've talked about him numerous times.
As a youthified, as they described it, instead of de-aged.
Yeah.
And so I listened to the director's commentary, and they were like, "We de-youthified him." I was like, "What?" Or
You don't need to do anything to that.
Yeah.
You know, he's in his 70s. He looks like he's in his 40s.
Yeah. Sam Jackson does not crack.
Yeah, you do not need to de-age.
I will say he looked fine. This is some of the best de-aging that we've seen because so much of the movie depends on it.
He was 70
Coulson's
years old.
was obvious.
Yeah, Coulson
Yeah.
was a little uncanny valley. But yeah, Sam Jackson was 70 years old when they made this movie. It's
When
ridiculous.
he made this one.
Yeah. It's ridiculous.
And he saw his projects on the slate as Nick Fury. I love
Yeah.
the man.
He
I love that man.
there was one or two times when he was like doing something actiony and there was a little bit of like De Niro in The Irishman where he's like running like an old guy, but
But his face is so smooth.
De Niro, have you noticed that De Niro, anytime like he kicks somebody, he does a T-Rex pose? Like in any Scorsese movie, when there's someone on the ground and he's kicking him, his arms go up like this and he's doing like a T-Rex to kick.
Oh my God! I can picture him in Mean Streets. You know that shot from below where he's on the pool table
Yeah,
and he's just kicking the fuck out of all kinds of faces.
he does a T-Rex. His little
I
arms
had no
go
idea
up.
he did that.
Yeah, he does that in
You're
every
right.
movie where he kicks somebody on the ground.
Yeah, I think he does in The Godfather too.
He does.
I'm going back.
He
I'm
does
gonna
it.
go.
I
That's
think.
awesome.
I'm pretty sure he does. Absolutely does it in Goodfellas. He does it in The Irishman. I think he does it in Casino.
He kicks lots of things in Goodfellas.
Yeah.
He's Pele in that.
We got Ben Mendelsohn as Talos.
I also really like this actor.
Yeah, Ben Mendelsohn is great. We've talked about him previously in The Dark Knight Rises. Who was he in The Dark Knight Rises?
He.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
The bad guy billionaire, a little,
Yeah.
less than
He's
Wayne.
Yeah, he's the guy who says to Bane, "I paid you." He's like, "Does that make you feel in charge or whatever?" You know.
That's
like,
right.
Are you afraid?
He's the guy who gets
Ow.
his hand when Bane rests his hand on his shoulder, which is my favorite flex in that whole movie.
Yeah.
And he's also he's on the board, the
Yeah.
board of Wayne Enterprises.
That's
he's trying to. He's like, Bruce is never here, so fuck him.
Well, and he's in Rogue One.
Rogue. That's what I was going to mention.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, he's in Rogue One, which is, I don't know, for me personally, the role I most associate him with. He played Krennic. But I mean, of course, we've talked about him before. He's got
Well, he was. Has anybody seen the Outsider? That Stephen King series on HBO?
Yeah, I was just about to bring that up. Yeah, with
Yeah,
what's
he's
her name,
brilliant.
Cynthia Erivo. It's
Yeah, it was produced
incredible.
by Justin Bateman. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
really good.
wow. I was just looking, so his list of music videos he appeared in is strangely long for Ben Mendelsohn.
He's Australian, I believe. All right.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
oh, he's a recording artist himself. Huh. Weird.
That's
Wow.
cool.
But
Yeah.
that's why it's so long. But his first appearance in a music video was in an NXS video in 1993.
Whoa.
Wow.
Yeah, that's crazy. Jimon Hansu as Korath, we have spoken about him previously. Lee Pace
In a
As
couple
that
of
character.
movies.
a few movies, yeah. Lee Pace is Ronan the Accuser. Lashana Lynch is Maria Rambeau. Lashana Lynch. Let's see. She got her start. Let's see. She was in the 739. Fast Girls was her first film role. Powder Room, a lot of things I haven't heard of prior to Captain Marvel. Since then, she was in No Time to Die.
I don't know if you guys have seen that. She's incredible, and she is spoiler alert 007.
Ooh.
She's good in it. I was disappointed with the movie as a whole, but yeah, she's really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. So, yeah. That's Lashana Lynch as Maria Rambeau. Gemma Chan as Minerva.
She's in Eternals also.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yep.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Both her and Jimon Hansu have played multiple Marvel characters.
Yeah, that's weird. That's a little weird. But yeah, so she
She was in Human, I think, was the BBC show.
yeah.
Well,
Well,
she plays like a robot.
yeah. Humans. Yeah, she was.
She was really good in that.
That was her lead role. She did a lot of like secondary character work in like Doctor Who, the IT Crowd, Sherlock, that kind of stuff. A lot of BBC stuff. Oh, she played Kerma in 23 episodes of Hotel Transylvania, the series. Yeah.
That's where I know her.
Right. As far as her film roles go, kind of one of her big breakouts was in Jack Ryan's Shadow Recruit, Fantastic Beasts. She was in Transformers: The Last Night. Oh, and of course she was in Crazy Rich Asians. Yeah.
I don't remember her being in Crazy Rich Asians. That's interesting.
Yeah, she played Astrid. let's see. Annette Benning as the Supreme Intelligence. Is this our first Annette Benning role for Harmless Phosphorescence?
I think so.
Yeah.
Weird.
Right. I think so.
Wow. So yeah, I mean Annette Benning, she's long and storied career, of course. She was nominated for 4 Academy Awards over the years. The Grifters. She was great in The Grifters. She was nominated for American Beauty, Being Julia and The Kids Are All Right. She got her start on the stage in the early 1980s for the Colorado Shakespeare Company. It's Annette Benning. Everyone should know who Annette Benning is at this point. Clark Gregg is back as Phil Coulson. Jude Law as Jan Rog. I guess we haven't talked about him before on this show. Jude Law. He got his. That's so weird. I feel like we really should have, like he's been on this previously, but I guess not. He got his. Let's see. He started. What was his first big role here?
Gattaca is what I remember.
Gattaca. That was his first big breakout one in the late 90s.
Him and Ethan Hawke.
Yeah. Gattaca.
Road to Perdition.
Road to Perdition. That was a big one. He was in.
Sky Captain, was that him?
Sky Captain, absolutely. AI. Oh my God, that is a movie I would.
The first time I noticed him.
That is a movie I would love to talk about sometime.
Well, we could easily, because we're probably going to do Kubrick and we're probably going to do Spielberg, so it could be a nice transition.
Yeah.
Steven promised to finish it for him. So,
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he did. He took over. He was one of the actors that took over for Heath Ledger in the Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus. He was in. Let's see. He was in. He played Watson in the Guy Ritchie Sherlock Holmes movies. He's playing Dumbledore in those stupid movies.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's younger door.
younger door. Younger door. So Algenis Perez Soto as Alt Atlas. Rune Temte as Bron Char. Okay. Sharon Blynn as Soren, and Robert Kaczynski as the biker who's mean to Carol Danvers. Yeah.
Who's typical.
Yeah.
Oh,
he's not
Clark
particularly mean.
What's
that's
that?
Did you mention Clark
dude.
Gregg already?
What's that?
Did you mention Clark Gregg already?
I did. Yeah. Clark Gregg back as Coulson.
Okay. I missed him.
Yeah. That rounds out.
I guess we talked about him in Avengers.
Yeah, we did. We talked about him in several Phase 1 movies, actually.
Yeah.
So that rounds out the cast. That rounds out the production. We talked about the Rotten Tomatoes already. That basically brings us to the movie itself. Guys, you ready to go ahead and jump into this thing here?
For the good of all Cree.
Hi for the faster, baby.
It's cute. It's cute how hard we try.
Yeah, it is. It is cute. That's about the best I can say. All right, here we go. This is Captain Marvel. We open with a Marvel fanfare, but it's all Stan Lee. He died during this film's production. It has a special thank you to him. So, Stan the man.
And his cameo, he's playing himself.
Yeah.
His last cameo, he is the Stan Lee we know and love from our universe.
Yep.
Pretty cool.
Which I have a question about. I don't know if now is a good time for it. Was his Mallrats cameo the thing that gave us all these other cameos?
That's the first time I saw him playing in like
Himself.
a film, and that wasn't like a documentary or something. Yeah.
So was that an homage to that moment in Mallrats every time we saw him in movies after that? It dawned on me.
It was also It was a chronology indicator as well.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, it was definitely that too.
You know, a lot of things to place you in the time that it takes place.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
that's cool.
Because Mallrats is a super 90s movie, like one of the 90s-ist
Oh,
movies
yeah.
ever.
Ever. Yeah. Porky's for the 90s. That's
It-
what they wanted.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I think Mallrats is really what put him in the popular consciousness of Gen X in general, outside of comic book fandom.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
in this movie, he's practicing his lines for Mallrats.
I mean,
has
he
the
is.
script.
He has the
He is.
script.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't.
Because what does he say? Something true believer?
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
repeating the line that Kevin Smith has him say at the end of Jason Lee's conversation with him.
Yeah.
I wasn't able to read it. I just, heard the lines.
Yeah, he has a script in front of him
Okay.
with the actual logo.
yeah,
So the Askew universe. So.
yeah,
I love it. That means those movies exist in this universe.
yeah.
That's what I mean. That's our Stan Lee. That's our Stan Lee. Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
So Marvel Comics exist in this universe then, or some form of them at least.
Some form.
Yeah.
He's famous for something. Yeah.
So, but then we cut to a beach. We've got fire and debris. We see Brie Larson awaken with blue blood covering her. There's wreckage everywhere. There's Annette Benning. She wakes up. It was a dream.
You sounded like Stefan for a moment. There's a beach, there's an explosion, blue blood, Annette Benning, the human diaper fail. Which is that thing where, yeah.
She has glowy hands. She's got a chip in her neck. She lives in Holla, the Kree homeworld. I think I wrote the whole thing this way.
I hope so.
She wakes up her mentor, Jan Rog. We find out her Kree name is Veers. They spar since she can't sleep. She's got no memory. She was taken in by the Kree. She fights for them now. Jan Rog is training her to control her emotions and not use her glowy hands.
So this is the beginning of this. To me, I'm just going to say this starting now. This movie's about gaslighting. That's like the plot is him gaslighting her.
Yeah.
Like textbook. Don't
Yeah.
trust your emotions. Your emotions can't help you. People will use them against you.
Yeah.
You
Don't.
know.
I mean, right down to the very last battle, he knows he's going to lose,
Yeah.
so instead he tries to do that sweet talk thing.
I'm so proud of you. Yeah.
Yeah, it's about. I mean, yeah, it's being in an abusive a relationship. She visits the Supreme Intelligence, who appears as whoever the person most respects. It controls all of Kree society, guides people individually. It controls their Spotify algorithm. It does everything. It tells her she should be a good Kree and go kill Skrulls.
So in the comics, the Kree intelligence is a gigantic head, like Zordon in the Power Rangers,
Yeah.
Yeah.
floating in a tube. That's really
Yeah.
grotesque. Yeah.
Tendrils all around it. They made a good choice here.
Yeah, totally agree. Although I would have loved to see Annette Benning as a big green head.
Like Bryan Cranston in the Power Rangers movie. She goes on a mission with what are they called? Star Force. The group of Kree commandos. They're going to rescue an undercover operative infiltrating a group of Skrulls who are alien shapeshifters with whom the Kree are at war. During the mission, they get surprised by a group of Skrulls, and Veers is captured by Skrull Commander Talos.
Before we get too far from Hala, because we're not going to go back, we get to see blue Kree, pink Kree, and black Kree,
Yeah.
which is really neat. So Jude Law is a pink Kree, and they have Carol Danvers believing that she is a pink Kree.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's interesting that there is a multi-racial alien species because that doesn't happen in any sci-fi very often.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see. Well, and I wonder if having one supreme intelligence to guide your utopia made that possible.
So you're saying
Also a common enemy.
yeah. So you're saying we need a supreme intelligence.
I mean, sign me up. Plug me
Yeah,
in.
it wouldn't hurt at this point.
Google's on it.
Any intelligence would help.
Yes, and intelligence. We need an intelligence, supreme or
Yeah.
otherwise.
I'm done with the algorithm. Give me something that's intelligent.
Yeah. Oish. All right.
If we can achieve a Nacho Supreme, we can do anything.
I would love a supreme nacho intelligence, but not nacho.
The nachos are
Yeah,
what?
not nacho from Better Call Saul.
Not that nacho.
So, all right. We cut to her memories of being a test pilot with the Air Force. It's the Skrulls. They're trying to get information out of her. They rewind. They fast forward. We see her riding go-karts as a child. She crashes. She's in basic training, being taunted by the male cadets. She's getting harassed in a bar, as one does in the 80s. We meet her best friend, Maria Rambo, a fellow pilot. We meet her mentor, Wendy Lawson. She's the one that Talos is trying to find. Let's see. Veers wakes up. She's in a...
We also met Goose, I think.
Oh,
in
yeah,
the
yeah.
flashback.
Goose was in there. Yeah. Goose the cat was in there.
Oh yeah, and she says she doesn't take kindly to people.
Yeah.
I'm surprised she likes you.
Yeah. Goose, of course, named after Goose from Top Gun, assuming. Yeah.
Anthony Edwards.
Yep.
Yep.
Let's see. Veers wakes up. She's in a Skrull.
Oh, in this visual moment, I just want to. There's a burning piano. Which I just barely. There's a single glimpse of it. That's what they do when a pilot dies. Is they burn a piano. I guess there was an RAF pilot who was an incredible piano player, and when he died, the bar that they had didn't know what to do, so the pilots burned the piano so no one would ever play it again. And now it is a traditional thing. Oftentimes when a pilot dies in the Air Force, they burn a piano on the tarmac.
See, I thought it was because she didn't start the fire.
I thought it was a reference to "You Shake My Nerves and You Rattle My Brain."
Yeah, Great Balls. of
Anthony
Fire.
Daniels. Yeah,
Great Balls of Fire.
that's literally what I thought. I was like, "Oh, that's really interesting." But yeah, I looked it up and I was like, "Oh, that's even cooler."
I heard she played, what was it, the Rock 3, the Rock. She played it so intensely it just caught on fire. Like Shiny McShine from the movie Shine.
Mr. Shine from the movie Shine.
You remember?
Yeah, she's in a Skrull ship. Her brain's being probed. We find out that Lawson is they're trying to find her because she was building a light speed engine. I think we should briefly touch on how space travel works in the MCU, because this can be kind of confusing if you're not clear on it.
Yeah.
Because they travel from planet to planet across the galaxy all the time, something which in theory you would think would take a light speed engine, but what they actually do is use jump points, which are stable artificial wormholes.
Yeah. I don't think they're created by the ships that use them. They are created by a stationary object nearby that does the thing.
It's like
We've seen in Guardians that they have to get to the
jump point. Right. Yeah.
Each solar system that has something of value in it has a jump point.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's how they travel. So if there's not a jump point nearby, you have to travel slower than light from one place to another, which can take quite a while.
This is one of those things that makes the Marvel universe feel more lived in. Because it's like, how long has that existed? Has that existed for millions of years, thousands of years? I don't know. Yeah. Which is kind of neat to consider that the Kree and the Skrull have been fighting for millennia.
Yeah. It is interesting, and it's also it's interesting the species that don't really utilize the jump points much, like the Asgardians. They're like, we've got the Rainbow Bridge, and that's a good enough for us.
Yeah, totally. We're in no hurry.
And they seem. Oh, go ahead, Al.
According to the interwebs, the jump points are part of the Universal Neural Teleportation Network.
Huh. There you go.
AT&T.
Um,
But they rebranded as
Wait.
Singular.
it's literally AT&T.
UNTN.
Oh, UNTN. I can't spell. Yeah, it's an interesting aspect. I think the Asgardians understand space travel in a magical way because when they go up the devil's anus,
Yeah.
it's like, that'll take us somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah, the Asgardians just assume all of their technology is magic because they interact with it
That'll
so
take us
seamlessly.
somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And because, they're all not very bright. So they just assume that it's magic and not technology made by their forebears.
They are not very bright. None of them.
No. Even Loki, and he's not even a native Asgardian. He's the smartest, and even
Clever.
he's clever, but is he bright? Yeah.
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 They all seem kind of dim-witted, even Odin.
Yeah.
Everyone but Hela, I guess.
Yeah. So all right. She breaks out of her bonds. She fights her way through the ship, causing it to crash. There's some escape pod hijinks. Several of the Skrulls crash land in an escape pod, as does she, right into a Blockbuster Video somewhere in the LA area. She gets pointed to a Radio Shack by a security guard after she asks where she can find a communications equipment.
That security guard, that's a cameo. That is the Marvel head of security who had never been in a movie before and actually tried out for the role.
Huh, fun.
Wow, that's awesome.
That was cool.
Yeah. Let's see. We see.
Yeah, I love it because the movie theater has their own guy.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Let's see. We see the Skrulls landed in the ocean just off the coast. They turn into humans and set out to find Veers, as they consider her the key to finding Lawson. Veers manages to hook up a Game Boy and a payphone to make an intergalactic call. She didn't. I wonder why she didn't simply call collect and say it's we had a baby. It's a boy.
Oh my god! When she turns on the little communication device out of her fingertips, it makes the Game Boy turn on chime sound, which I thought was a really nice sound touch.
Yeah. We of course instantly see that it's the 90s from the blockbusters and technology and all.
She picks up the right stuff too that nails the
that's
era
cute.
of
But then
adults becoming pilots, raised
She
on that.
shoots the True Lies cutout.
Yeah, Arnold specifically.
Was that her first
and
Arnold?
Jamie Lee.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally saw that in the theater. In
Oh,
Raleigh,
True Lies.
Arkansas.
Yeah. Yeah. So she let's see.
Wait, this makes it 94, right?
95. It's 95.
95. Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's 95. I have one question about one era specific thing, but it's later on. It's not super big though. It's tiny. I'll just tell it now. Later on, where she's at the talking to the Supreme Intelligence, and she hears "Come as you are." That's fine. That was era specific for 95, but she left Earth in 89. So she would not have known. "Come as you are" would not have been a song to which she associated anything with, even if she heard it when she got back in 95 on her run here.
That's what I assumed was all the music and stuff that she got was in her, 4 or 5 days
Good
traveling through
point.
LA, listening to the radio.
Yeah, that's entirely possible. So anyways, she talks to Yanrog, tells him they're on Earth. The Skrulls are after lightspeed technology. Yanrog sets out to retrieve her. It's going to take a little while to get there, as there's not a jump point near Earth. She decides to find Lawson herself. S.H.I.E.L.D. shows up. We get a young Nick Fury and young Agent Coulson. They attempt...
Rookie Agent Coulson. This is his first week.
Yeah.
It seems.
Fury keeps calling him Rook. Yeah. They attempt to take her into custody, but she gets attacked by a Skrull. She chases after it while Fury and Coulson chase after her. She loses the Skrulls, but does get a little crystal thingy, which she can stick in her arm. Fury realizes that Coulson is actually a Skrull and ends up getting in a car crash, killing the shapeshifter.
The body swap was really, really, really subtly done because it's almost to the point where it's like, how did that happen? But there's like 4 seconds where he's not in the frame where it could have happened.
Yeah, that's
Well, and we didn't have to go through some like drawn out, complicated convincing of Nick Fury. Do you know what I mean? Like that's all it took, and we were all caught up to speed. I love that.
Yeah.
when that happens.
Well, and it sets up that moment for later because if we had done that twice, it would have felt worn out when he says the Cuba conversation in the elevator.
Yeah. Well, and okay, so I really love, I'm going to bring it up here because I really love this whole middle part of the movie, especially because it's very much a 90s kind of political thriller kind of thing. Like it's like The Net or Enemy of the State, like the guy on the run, the person on the run from the government, and they don't know. Like it plays with those tropes.
The Fugitive.
The Fugitive, yeah, it plays with all of those '90s thriller tropes.
That was a 90s.
Really, yeah, in a really fun way. So I really enjoyed that they did that because that's a way of referencing the '90s. That's not like, a blockbuster video or something. It's not like an obvious thing. They're actually using the tropes of the time. So that was fun. So let's see. Meanwhile, Veers, Alta Vista's Wendy Lawson, and Project Pegasus.
Alta Vista. All of Pawnee, Indiana only uses Alta Vista.
So that's a question that I had. How does she read English? I mean, obviously she grew up reading English. Isn't that concerning?
Universal translator.
Oh, that's true. She has a
that
universal translator. So
translates-
she probably chalked it up.
Yeah, so that translates text as well as sound, I guess.
I
Yeah.
guess. I mean, if we're gonna
It's
mix it up.
universal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice we mentioned she mentions the universal translator because that answers a lot of. We always assumed there was something like that, but it explicitly states that that's how everyone
Some
in the
sort
MCU
of Babelfish.
talks to each other. Yeah, exactly. So let's see. She finds the location of the airbase she was stationed at, steals a motorcycle, and heads out. Meanwhile,
Oh, and steals a super cool fit too.
yeah, she does. Yeah,
She goes with the grunge outfit, particularly.
Yep. Meanwhile, she
Well, like you said, she would have missed that.
Yeah.
Period, somewhat.
yeah.
But we do hear her singing. I don't know what the song is they're singing in the bar, but it's
Kiss
some
Me
punk-
Deadly. It's Kiss Me Deadly by, I believe, Lita Ford. Lita Ford, yeah.
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 So that
80s.
kind of fits that she would pick up on this style.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean,
Yeah, it's just the clothing. She didn't choose
Yeah.
grunge, but like the road pointed, there were things that happened while she was
And-
gone.
Did we get an explicit 5 years?
6 years. She left in
6 years.
'89.
I see.
She left in '89, came back in '95.
Okay.
Yeah. So
And
she.
they do mention it several times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
6 years.
Yeah. So she basically missed the whole grunge thing as well as Clinton. She's like, wait, Johnny's not on the Tonight Show anymore? So yeah. Meanwhile, S.H.I.E.L.D. performs an alien autopsy. Fury's boss tells him to head out to find Veers to see if they can work together to discover more of the shapeshifters. We discover that Fury's boss, who looks suspiciously like Ben Mendelsohn, is actually Talos in disguise.
Right. So it begs the question: does Fury's boss have an Australian accent, or does Talos the Skrull have an Australian accent? Because they both do.
I think it was just
It's just funny.
coincidence.
It was just
Hey,
coincidence. So it's
just a
like that's his
coincidence.
boss.
Yeah.
Maybe he's from Skrull, Australia.
Skrull Australia.
When we first meet him, he has an American accent, correct?
The boss, Ben Mendelsohn as the boss,
Yeah,
as Bruce Springsteen.
the director.
Oh,
Does he?
he does actually.
In
Now that you
this-
mention it.
In this scene with the alien autopsy, he does have an American accent. It's later when he's revealed to Fury that he
Yeah.
lets his Skrull accent out.
Well, like on the beach and when they're on the
That only
spaceship,
he has.
sounds. Yeah.
Right?
All right.
Well, he's also the only Skrull we hear speak English. We
no,
don't.
his wife and his kid.
His kids.
They say something in English? Oh,
The
that's
wife
right.
says
A few
several
people.
things,
Yeah,
yeah.
when they get on the ship, they do. Okay, yeah, that's right. All right.
But universal translators. I'm talking about an accent. Yeah.
Yeah, no, the
But anyway.
accent. Yeah, for sure. Let's see. Veers arrives at the bar near the airbase to find Fury already there. Fury making record time to a bar, which he had to figure out the location of after Carol already left on a motorcycle.
Well,
It's the magic
Twin
of
Jets.
Alta Vista.
Yeah.
he had the full power of Shield at his availability.
That's true.
I guess.
Yeah. So they decide they get to know each other. They decide to join up and find out what the aliens are after.
We get our big continuity question. He can't eat toast that's been sliced diagonally. Yet we see Nick Fury eat diagonally sliced toast in Age of Ultron.
Yes, we do.
Has he always been a Skrull?
Yeah. At what point did Nick Fury?
Well, we're gonna find out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, and they're gonna have fun with that concept. I'm sure at some point they'll show
Secret
us like,
invasions coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm really curious as what point Fury became a Skrull.
I hope it's before Age of Ultron. I hope that there's a moment where we see him briefing a Skrull, saying like, "Look, you really gotta feed Tony Stark's ego when you talk to him." Like,
Yeah. Well, and it begs the question
He
then.
was off planet for
Yeah.
a while.
So
they
yeah.
say.
So then the question is did Nick Fury even get dusted, or did the Skrull get dusted?
yeah, and what happens is you're a Skrull? You just get dusted and you don't change back.
Yeah.
We'd have to ask the Beastie Boys. They're the experts on getting dusted. PCP is like gamma radiation. Anyone can be a superhero.
Fury leads her to a nearby secret facility where Project Pegasus is housed. They enter the base on Fury's credentials, but they get locked up by base security. That was a little weird because, like, the base security locked them up and then just disappeared completely from the movie. Because
Well, I assume that someone was supposed to come and talk to them. That was not base security, so their work was done.
right, but I mean, everybody in that base disappeared after they got locked up because everyone they
fair.
fight later on is the Shield agents under Ben Mendelsohn.
Yeah. Well, was that place mothballed? Possibly. Project Pegasus wasn't active after Lawson died.
Oh, so maybe security were the only people in the base.
Yeah. That was what I assumed. And they were like waiting for someone to arrive.
Well, someone has to stick around and feed Goose, who's been living in that base for 6 years.
Well, Goose is a flirkin, so who knows what that thing needs to eat.
Right.
That's where all the security guys went.
Oh, Goose ate them. Actually, maybe.
Really high turnover for an offsite security job.
Yeah. So, anyways, they get out, they find Goose, and then go through some files and discover that Veers was a pilot presumed to have died in 1989 while testing an experimental light speed engine. Her name is Carol Danvers. She calls Jan Rog, who tells her that Lawson was Marvel, an undercover agent helping them win the war against the Skrulls. He tells her he's on his way to Earth, leave her beacon on so he can find her. Fury secretly calls to inform S.H.I.E.L.D. of their location. The S.H.I.E.L.D. team arrives. Fury realizes his boss is a Skrull and decides to help Veers escape with a little help from Coulson. They get away in a prototype Quinjet with Goose as a stowaway.
The move that Jan Rog uses. Oh, actually, she was a spy. Actually, she was fighting for us. Leave your locator on. I'm coming to get you.
Mm-hmm.
Is again, it was the most like toxic relationship thing ever. Like, oh, that seems really dangerous. I'll come get you. Don't worry. I'm here. I'll make you safe.
I imagine a lot of the people that were upset with Brie Larson that were brigading this movie also identified with Jan Rog more than they probably should have.
Well, and I think that because people aren't aware of like those dynamics or aren't willing to pick at that and like understand it, that the payoff at the end of this movie didn't work for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
They're like, she should have just fought him hand to hand.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. That's not the fucking point.
Yeah.
That's the opposite of the point.
It's like the Hulk should fight people by not turning into the Hulk. That's
Yeah.
really dumb.
Exactly. Oh, what I meant to mention before about the whole Rotten Tomatoes thing is that this movie actually caused them to change their policy. So they no longer allow non-critic ratings prior to a film's opening.
And I think depending on the movie, you have to show proof of having seen the movie. You need a ticket stub photograph to review.
Yeah.
Depending on the movie. I don't think that's for everything, but for something that may be contentious.
Mm-hmm. So anyways, meanwhile, they fly to Louisiana to meet Maria Rambeau, the last person to see Carol and Lawson arrive alive. Rambeau and her daughter Monica meet them there in Louisiana, reveal that Carol Danvers was once like family to them. They reconnect. Maria thought that Carol was dead. Talos arrives unarmed and explains that the Skrulls are refugees searching for a new home, and that Lawson was Mar-Vell, a renegade Kree scientist helping them, not working for the Kree.
I love this whole scene in the living room with when Talos shows up.
He's drinking a milkshake.
Yes.
It's just silly, and his suit looked good. Just suddenly didn't look like a warrior.
Yeah. Well, yeah. See, that's the thing is you cast
General.
Ben Mendelsohn, who's well known for playing villains in this role, and he plays it super casual, and you think that that's just the kind of villain he is, and then he's like, no, I loved this. I love Ben Mendelsohn.
Well, and he's a spy, like Fury, so like it makes sense for him to be duplicitous. And in this moment, this moment shows why Jan Rog is a bad guy. And Talos is not, because he's like, I'm standing before you in my true form. I am here telling you all of the truth.
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas at no point does Jude Law tell her anything that is 100% true.
Yeah, I love that dichotomy because Talos is a spy, someone whose job is to deceive, who reveals himself and tells the truth, whereas her mentor, Jan Rog, is supposed to have been telling her the truth and is revealed to be full of nothing but deceit.
Well, and what does she describe the Kree as? Warrior heroes?
Yeah.
Noble warrior heroes. Like, wow, they really laid it on thick. You're not noble, you're not warriors, you're not heroes. You're all three all at the same time.
Yeah, like, okay, comrade.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, so let's see. Talos plays a recovered black box recording from Lawson's jet. Carol remembers the crash. Jan Rog killed Mar-Vell to prevent her from destroying the engine before the Kree could recover it. Destroying the engine herself, Carol absorbed the energy from the ensuing explosion, gaining her powers but losing her memory.
I really liked how they just one and done. She was dead. She got shot and she was not bleeding out. There was no like, Carol, help me. Like we went through that after the crash. She gets shot and she is dead.
Yeah, absolutely. That was Talos gets freaked out by Goose, says it's a flirkin. I love that whole bit because then later on where they say, can you turn into a cat? And he says, what's a cat?
Yeah.
And then later on, Sam Jackson says, "Mother Flirkin."
Mother Flirkin, that's right. Yeah. So, was the milkshake? Never mind. Okay. Anyways, there was a few Pulp Fiction references in here, I thought. with Sam Jackson.
Yeah, I'm 100% sure that him drinking the milkshake was a
Pulp Fiction.
Pulp Fiction reference.
There were movie references throughout, but
Yeah.
yeah, I'm sure there was.
I don't see how you could work with Sam Jackson and not make a Pulp Fiction reference, especially since he's so
Right.
willing to do them.
Well, it's like his grave in something has the Ezekiel whatever quote.
25:17 is written on there. Yeah.
Yeah, which isn't real.
Yeah, exactly.
So anyway,
Doesn't exist.
yeah. So he explains to Carol the Kree are the aggressors in the war. The Skrulls are living as refugees. They want the Lightspeed engine to escape the Kree and find a home where they will be safe. Carol agrees to help them find Mar-Vell's lab, which is orbiting Earth. They're going to modify the Quinjet to get into space.
I love the moment where, because humans are dumb on the galactic scale of things, but they describe the coordinates, and the two pilots and the spy go, "Oh yeah, no, that's like a orbiting location." Yeah. And this advanced aliens are like, "Are you kidding me? We didn't have to land here." Like, it's just a great reveal. Like, we're very clever and we're very adept at navigation as like a race of people.
Yeah. That was fun. I do have a question though about with the Quinjet when it goes into space. I guess it could have been part of their modifications, but it has like a gravity function in it that they turn on.
Yeah, that's a budget saving device for sure.
Yeah,
But it's
I guess we.
Sorry, it's revealed at some point that this is actually a quad jet, so it's a precursor to the Quinjet.
Quad instead of Quinn.
Well, I assume that kind of technology is so readily available and accessible to someone like a Skrull that it's just something that they can create from raw materials.
Fair enough. Yeah,
They did have the science guide there.
Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
it would have been part of their modifications. Yeah, makes sense, I guess.
Yeah.
So let's see. Carol convinces Maria to go with her into space, and then Carol and Monica choose the new colors for her suit. There's a few cool Easter egg things in there with the colors being chosen. Both comic
Black and silver, right?
Yeah, and at one point she has the Iron Man colors, and yeah,
She has the green and white at one point, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
Original Marvel.
yeah. So, some fun stuff there. The next day, Jan Rog arrives and meets with Carol, who he discovers is a Skrull. He kills the Skrull and figures out that Carol knows the truth and decides to call in Ronan to destroy the Earth. Meanwhile, Maria, Talos, and Carol, and Fury, and Goose find Lawson's secret laboratory orbiting Earth. They decloak it and board the lab, finding a bunch of Skrulls hiding there, including Talos' family, and the Tesseract. The power
It's been off planet.
Yeah, the power source of Lawson's engine. So it's been off planet since '89. Apparently, it was in that underground. Well, okay, so Cap would have returned it to the '70s. So let's follow the Tesseract. So it got stolen by the Nazis in the '40s. Then Howard Stark got it after Red Skull died, and it
Then
crashed.
it briefly disappeared into the future.
Well, yeah, it stayed there until the 70s under Howard Stark's control, briefly disappeared in the future, came back to the 70s, stayed with S.H.I.E.L.D. until 89 when it went into space on Mar-Vell's thing, and then here we are in 89. Or
95.
95, yeah, sorry, 95. So they find the Tesseract. That was the power source of Lawson's engine and what gave Captain Marvel her powers. They put the Tesseract in a Fonzie lunchbox.
It's no, not just Fonzie. You know, Carol, they weren't all happy days.
Yeah. So Starforce arrives, takes them captive. Jan Rog is going to kill the rest of the Skrulls, Maria and Fury. But first he makes Carol interface with the Supreme Intelligence in an effort to mind wipe her back into being a Kree.
They really connected her to it, like
Ye-
more than they usually do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like-
restrained her to it.
Plugged her straight in. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought that was an interesting visual choice instead of her being like, "Here, you sit here while you do this, and we'll tie you up." They like
Yeah, she's too
the
powerful.
supreme intelligence tied her up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Fury, Maria, and Talos escape their captivity with the help of Goose, who eats people.
Well, I guess they had to they had to illustrate literal bondage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The neck thing was the bondage, but yeah, to see her break out of those bonds. Yeah. Very symbolic.
FYI, anybody, if someone puts a chip in your neck, that's a bad sign. You don't.
Yeah.
Unless it's a Cool Ranch Dorito.
Yes.
Otherwise, accept no chips.
Yeah.
Once killed a man with a Cool Ranch Dorito, stabbed him right in the neck.
Right in the neck bone. Yeah, chips and necks. They're no good, folks.
Yeah.
Kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
Children.
Yeah. Spoilers for Stranger Things season 4. Anyway, so let's see. She fights. Okay, so while she's talking to the Supreme Intelligence, she finds her inner strength through her past failures. Wakes up, destroys the inhibitor chip in her neck, and allows her and reaches her full potential as a superhero. I enjoyed this. I love the message. Sometimes Marvel does feel a little pandering, though. Not nearly as pandering as we get in Endgame, though, in that one scene.
Well, and
Yeah.
I mean,
I really liked it.
arguably, I think that it depends on the audience for what is being presented. Like, is it pandering if people feel represented by it?
Yeah. Well, okay.
Like,
Yeah, good point.
A 10-year-old girl is going to feel really cool seeing a bunch of women on screen doing cool stuff, whereas like a 30-year-old man like me, I was like, oh, this is interesting. Like, it's not for me, and I'm super cynical about those kinds of things.
That's a good point. That's a good point. I mean, we're sitting
Yeah.
here in Pride Month where like the CIA tweeted a Pride tweet, I feel very cynical, but you're right. If there's a 10-year-old
this is
girl
different from that.
if there's a 10-year-old girl that feels emboldened or empowered by it, then it does its job. And who the hell am I?
I think
to
it's worth
call it pandering?
worth doing it for that. You know?
The industry is literally built upon pandering.
Yeah.
Well, hey, that's how you find
every
an
studio
audience.
made
You know?
shit that was
And for this, like, because they really like the gaslighting thing is they're being pretty obvious with it, you know,
Yeah.
even though it's subtle. This is an allegory now that you can point to and say like, oh, you want to understand it? Watch this movie that came out, you know, in 2020 or whatever year this movie came out. It will explain it for you.
Yeah.
I can't think of a movie that really did gaslighting in a way that was like presentable and not like a thriller.
Alien.
You know?
Alien a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe
that's a good
even
point.
Aliens.
Yeah.
Nobody listened to Ripley.
Nobody
Yeah.
listened to Ripley.
The crazy lady and her cat.
Andrea mentioned that the dude telling her to smile is similar to Supergirl's first interaction with men on Earth.
Yeah.
Yeah. A little less rapey, but same vibe.
Yeah, totally same vibe.
Yeah, the like smile shit, but then also at the end fighting Jude Law's character. You know, it was a joke on villains in general because villains love to monologue right before the battle, but I just loved her. Like, I'm done listening to your shit. Like, I don't want to hear you speak anymore.
Yeah.
I just love that.
Yeah.
That's a powerful move.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, I'm not going to let you have your last white man say. You don't get the last word.
Yeah. Well, and also
Dickhead.
I'm not, you don't get to set the boundaries or the rules for me anymore. I get to
Well, there's
decide.
that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's all of that in one little.
Well, and we get the visuals of that with the fight itself as it escalates. You see her. I love all of the fighting that we get because it shows her discovering not only is she powerful, but like she has all three dimensions of play. She can do anything, literally,
Right.
like freedom of movement.
There were There were great fight scenes, great choreography in this.
There was.
Yeah.
It was.
I love how many times she would throw a body in the air and then kick it like you would a
Yeah.
soccer ball. I
Yeah.
loved that.
That was fun. It was also. It was fun that it was to just a girl.
When I first saw it, this
Totally.
fell flat for me. Every time I've watched it since, I've grown to love this scene, and every time it's better because
Oh, I
now
think
I
it
understand the
works. It works
context of
well.
like all she could do was have twinkle fingers before, and now that's coursing through every inch of her body, and she's
Yeah.
figuring out what that means. Like I didn't get that as well as I wish I had the first time.
right. It's that. Well, yeah.
Say what you want, but Gwen Stefani wrote some empowering songs.
She
Again,
did.
say
Hell
what you
yeah.
want about her.
Absolutely, she did. And that song is the perfect balance of empowerment and also just being a fun, upbeat song to have a
Yeah,
fight to.
still has the needle drop
Yeah.
quality to
Yep.
it as well.
My favorite part of this scene was the Nerf dart in the face.
That was fun.
So good.
Brie Larson's reaction is just priceless.
Yeah.
So
And then the
there
side turn.
there was a deleted scene of this what do they call them, Star Force.
Mhm.
They're like bantering before they go out on a mission, and they have a moment where they're like kind of catty with each other, and it's fun, and it really fleshed this out a little bit more. This was still funny, but I wish we'd gotten another minute with the Star Force team to establish that she is beating up all of her friends.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. That would have been nice because she's like, "Is that why we never hung out?" No, I just didn't like you very much.
Yeah, they're all literally just enabling Jude Law
Mm-hmm.
to do what he's been doing to her.
Yeah.
Well, and that was even a little commentary on the cattiness
Mm-hmm.
that female dynamics live in. Like,
Yeah.
why would she want to? Oh, is that why we aren't friends? Neither of them want to be friends with each other. But
Yeah.
they want to know why they don't like each other.
Yeah. So
Very strange.
So during the fight with Star Force, she takes the Tesseract in the lunchbox, finds the others. Goose eats the Tesseract. She keeps the box to create a diversion while the others take the Skrulls and the quad jet to escape. This is the big fight with Star Force. One of them goes after the quad jet. The fight with Yonrog ends up moving into a smaller ship, which crashes. Carol is falling to Earth. She learns she can fly. Maria defeats the person.
I had a couple theories on this because she wasn't really flying before. When she was doing her vertical moves up on the space station, she was using her like force blasts to propel her.
Yeah.
And yeah, she just kind of accepts falling, and then we see her eyes flash. Oh, so the first theory, she absorbs energy, and I feel like the free fall allowed her to tap into kinetic and potential energy, or gravitational energy therein. My second theory is that she threw herself at the ground and missed.
Works every time.
Yeah.
Well, I thought you were going to say, because there's that montage of her getting up, and her whole life, her whole personal story was, being knocked down and getting back up.
Well, and the visual of her falling, she falls into the earth.
Yeah.
And then gets back up. She doesn't stop herself from falling, which I thought was a cool choice too, because she could have done the "ooh, we almost crashed" maneuver. But like, she's so powerful that it doesn't matter. She could crash into the planet and be fine.
Yeah, totally. So, all right, she at this point, let's see. Maria defeats the pursuing Starforce pilot. Goose scratches Fury's eye, and just then Ronan arrives. He fires warheads at the Earth, but Carol destroys them along with one of Ronan's ships, and so Ronan runs away. He bravely ran away.
She threatens them.
Yeah.
She goes up there and threatens them. And the iconic shot of her putting her fist into her palm from the comic book cover. I forget whose cover that was, but that's a great throwback to
and
covers.
the way she does that, and the power just like waves off of her. That was cool. She flies back to Earth.
Oh, she fishes through the fighter jets that come out to get her, and that's when she realizes that she is essentially invulnerable and that she is actually having fun.
Yeah.
The woo
Yeah.
moment is one of my favorite moments. Like I remember in the theater, I was like pumping my fist. I was like, "Fuck yeah!" I would be so stoked if I could just fly through shit.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Like she doesn't pull a Superman and fly like a speeding bullet. She's just like tossing herself into things, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. She just rips through things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she flies back to Earth, easily defeats Jan Rog, not in hand-to-hand combat, sends him back to Hala with a warning for the Supreme Intelligence.
She drags his ass through the desert back to his ship while he is pleading.
Yeah. It was awesome.
The holding the hand out, like I'm gonna help you up, and
Yeah.
then just dragging him is
Yeah.
beautiful,
Yeah, that was great.
hilarious.
Later, the good guys.
Revenge.
Yeah. Later, the good guys celebrate around Maria's dining room. The Skrulls decide they're going to go look for a home. Carol says she's going to go with them. Maria looks like she may join S.H.I.E.L.D. as a pilot. And Carol gives Fury a pager to contact her in case of emergencies. She says goodbye to Maria and Monica, and she flies off into the night sky, escorting the Skrulls away from Earth.
She is their engine, basically,
Yeah.
when they fly away from Earth, which is really neat. Their conversation around the table, Maria says to the Skrulls, "You're welcome to stay here," which means they're welcome back. And I assume that that's going to be the connection, because we've seen that, spoiler alert for WandaVision, we've seen that
I was
they
gonna
continue to
say-
have a relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they probably did come back and stay with Monica and
Yeah.
Maria from time to time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, no one told me life was gonna be this. Oh, different Monica. I was
Yeah.
thinking.
It was the 90s, yeah. Sometimes later, Fury has lost his eye. He and Coulson get to know each other. He decides to rename his Protector Initiative, which he's starting since he discovered the existence of aliens, to the Avenger Initiative in honor of Carol's call sign. We roll credits.
I wish we had gotten some sort of tee up for that instead of it just being that was her name.
Yeah.
Like she should have been watching the Avengers movie from the 60s or something.
Yeah, that would have been fun. So, the pager. We'll get to the after credits sequence in a minute, but the pager. She said for emergencies only. What constitutes an emergency in Nick Fury's mind? Does a Chitauri invasion constitute an emergency?
So I think that was his opportunity to prove his concept that the Avengers would work. I think if they had nuked New York, he would have clicked that button. It would have been too late, and he would have made a huge mistake. But I think he was testing the Avengers initiative.
He was taking a shot on it, like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, that one. I guess that's the
Age
biggest.
of Ultron to me is the big question. Like, dude, I would have totally called her to defeat this AI.
I mean, yeah. I think Age of Ultron's the other big question one.
Because Ultron was going to enslave humanity and then destroy them afterwards instead. You know, like.
Yeah. I almost feel like Age of Ultron would have made more sense than as far as what Nick Fury was aware of in Infinity War, because he knew something was going on, but he didn't know what the extent of it was when he clicked that pager. So,
Yeah.
although I feel like he was clicking it because he saw himself starting to dust and figured this is his last chance to click it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so in the mid-credit sequence, we cut to 2018 at the Avengers compound. The activated pager is being monitored by, we got Black Widow, we got Captain America, Bruce Banner, and Rhodey. Carol Danvers appears looking for Fury. Then in a post-credit scene, Goose climbs onto Fury's desk and throws up the Tesseract. Which
Thereby, the circle is complete.
Yeah.
And we know how it got to
that
Project Pegasus again.
Yeah, that underground facility where it's at when Loki comes to take it.
Which Project Pegasus went then under the S.H.I.E.L.D. umbrella.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. So that's the movie. Like I said, I liked it a lot more than I did the first time I saw it. It really grew on me.
Yeah.
I like it a lot. Yeah.
So, I don't know. Final thoughts and answered questions?
Did they work for Captain Carter or what's her face? Agent Carter? Was she the head of S.H.I.E.L.D. at this point?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I haven't watched the Captain Carter series, and I'm even unclear on to whether that is actually canon in MCU.
Did she blip or no?
Well, like Ant-Man era. Like, was Ant-Man era Michael Douglas, was that early 90s? That was 80s.
That was late 80s when...
So,
well, no. When he was Ant-Man, that was the 70s. When he was getting mad at Howard Stark, that was the... And leaving, that was the late 80s.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. Like, if that same era was happening, then Stark and... Oh, well, what year did Howard Stark die? 92?
Yeah. Somewhere
so
in
that
there.
would mean that she is then the head of S.H.I.E.L.D. by herself, maybe? I don't know. Anyways.
Yeah.
Weird.
So it would have been Peggy Carter would have been the head of S.H.I.E.L.D. at this time. Nick Fury would have been working for Peggy Carter. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. You guys want to go ahead and rank it?
Okay.
All right. Let me get the ranking up here. The bass end ranking. Let's see. Now, I am thinking... There we go. All right. So I'm thinking... I feel like this is a good area to kind of start in. Right around here.
My eyes went straight to around Ant-Man. Is that where you are?
Yeah, I have Ant-Man right in the middle there.
That's exactly what I thought too.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got Ant-Man right in the middle there. I was thinking anywhere between Doctor Strange and Guardians I could live with. Doctor Strange being at 28, Guardians being at 11.
How does this compare to Wonder Woman?
Oh, that's a good question.
This is much better than Wonder Woman,
I think it's
in my opinion.
Yeah, I think it's a better movie than Wonder Woman, personally.
To me, my mind is like, is this better than Ant-Man? Or is this better than Days of Future Past?
Ooh, good question.
Which I have a hard time saying something is better than Days of Future Past, because that is an exceptional X-Men movie. It's the only one we got that was exceptional.
Yeah. All right, how about this? How about we put it right between Days of Future Past and Ant-Man? It'll go at number 21.
That's a good spot.
Sold.
Makes sense. So, all right, here we go. Captain Marvel. Sticking it at number 21 on the big list, and that is it for Captain Marvel, which means it's time to look forward to next week's movie. Next week, here on Harmless Phosphorescence, we are going to be watching Shazam.
Oh boy. I
Yeah.
haven't seen this one.
Yeah, interesting that Captain Marvel and Shazam are somewhat linked up as far as their origin goes. And they're so close to each other. So Shazam next week here on Harmless Phosphorescence. Until then, thank you everybody for hanging out with us. This has been your host, Thoreau Smiley. I'm off to go get the 411 on the late night Dropbox.
I'm Josh Cece. Do you want to fight?
I'm Brian Lesh, and I'm going to go turn myself into a filing cabinet.
I will neither confirm nor deny that I am Alaric Weber.
He is. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.